Share what you thinking, what you thinking. What's on your mind? Share what you thinking, what you thinking. Hey, what's on your mind? Share what you thinking, what you thinking. Tell me, what's on your mind? Share what you thinking, what you thinking. Hey, what's on your mind? Say what you thinking, what you thinking. What's on your mind? Share what you thinking, what you thinking.
So today we're having a discussion about narcissism, or really being in relationship with a narcissist. The first thing that I want to tell you guys is that we are not professionals. We're not trying to diagnose anybody. So I don't want anybody to, walk away and say, they said, then come try to sue me for the $12 I got in the bank, because you ain't gonna get my $12. And so this is merely a discussion about the pitfalls of being in relationship with someone who is a narcissist and how to break free of that. So the first thing I want to tell you is that, ask you is, what is a narcissist to you? I can tell you what it's not. It is not something that is easily diagnosed. It is not something for a person who is not a professional to try to diagnose. So you may think that you have a narcissist, know that you have a narcissist, but you really don't know until they've been diagnosed. And that's a long process for somebody to be able to get a diagnosis and say that they are, because it's just that complicated. Okay, and also one of the things that I also learned is that narcissists are not born, but they're made. Some people think they come here like that, but they're really made into being that kind of individual for when they're young all the way up. And this is why you have to be very careful in your parenting with your kids and how you love them and things that you treat them and different things like that, because you never know what you're raising them to be. But these days, I think when people hear the word narcissist, they just recoil. Oh my God, he's a narcissist. Girl, don't date him. I heard about, and it's not a fair thing to put on somebody when you don't know that that's what they're being. So I'm really happy that Leon is here. Do you say recovering narcissist or?
Yeah, they say recovering.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I will always have the personality disorder, but through therapy, I learned how to regulate and understand why I was the way that I was. Mm-hmm. But prior to therapy, I didn't know, didn't care, because it felt good being abnormal. And we'll get into that from my childhood. Mm-hmm. So being normal didn't feel good to me. I didn't get a rush out of it. I got a rush out of being abnormal. I got a rush out of being dangerous. It's a euphoric feeling when I was hurting women, making women cry. It was a euphoric feeling when I was cheating, lying.
You said euphoric to make women cry.
It was euphoric.
What would you get out of that?
So if I made a woman cry, which I did a lot, two things happened. I got real angry or I got horny.
Now, why would you be mad?
Because I didn't think that she should be crying. I didn't like to see a woman cry because my mother never cried. And my mother, I watched my mother get beat up.
Take your time.
It's hard because people talk about this disorder, but they don't know. Right. Like you said, everybody's saying, oh, my husband's a narcissist, my boyfriend's a narcissist, oh, he's a narcissist. It goes very, 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 very deep. So going back to what I was saying, my mother and my uncle was arguing one time at my uncle's party, and my mother, they went in the bedroom for some reason. I followed my mother, and I was like 9. I was always close to my mother. It's three kids. I'm the middle child. And so my mother picked up a small 19-inch TV and threw it in his face, knocked his head back, cut his eye open, and then he punched my mother in the mouth and knocked her teeth out. And I picked her teeth up off the floor. And so—
Your mother's teeth?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't realize that was a start of me not caring about women crying, because my mother didn't cry. So my father beat my mother, and she never cried.
Did she allow you to cry?
Well, when I did cry, I was always told, shut up, stop being a punk. Crying is for girls. You acting like a sissy. Man up, be tough. Or if I did cry, I was punched in the chest.
Do you think that's why you went into the military, to prove that you were tough?
Right. So I went into the military because my parents never talked about college. They both dropped out in the 9th grade. They never talked about God. We never prayed before we ate as a family, so I never believed in God. And when I was in relationships with women and we were eating with their families, I got irritated when they would start praying.
Wow.
I went into the military because there were artifacts around my house about the military. My father was in the Army, my uncles were in the Army, my brother was a Marine, my other cousin was in the Army, and I looked up to him. He was the reason why, they were the reason why I wanted to join the military, because I wasn't ready for college. I never took the SAT. The senior counselors never brought me into the office and say, hey, you know, you need to look at Ohio State or Michigan. So I had a lot of jealousy and I had a lot of anger in me. But that happened as a kid. So I knew I was going to join the military when I was 9. So I started making myself tougher. I started working out at 9, running, push-ups, sit-ups, lifting weights. And also I knew I wanted to be, this story ties in. I knew I wanted to travel with the military because I wanted to have sex with a lot of exotic women.
That was really why you went into the military?
Yeah.
Wow.
But it happened. I was addicted to women at 5 because my female cousins had molested me. And I was also afraid of women at 5 because they controlled and dominated me. So this ties into my narcissistic personality later on.
Lighter moment. You still scared of women?
No.
No, okay.
Right. That made them scared of me.
Okay,
And that's
yeah.
why, yeah. So, and then.
When I say scared of them, I don't mean like not like them. I just mean like, do they still make you a little trepidatious?
No. I went too far with it. Had I not made some type of change or transition, there was always mental shifts for me. Had I not made those mental shifts, I would not have been so aggressive, hatred, or addicted to women. I vowed to never let women ever hurt me again by the time I was 11 years old. So when I did that, I truly believed in it, and it happened. Then I started getting taller, started getting thicker, growing muscles, looking better. I joined the military, and I started dominating women overseas, exotic women.
In looking to dominate women, would you search for women that were easier to dominate, or those that you felt a challenge in order to dominate?
No, so, right, great question. 2 women I stayed away from, 2 types. Spiritual women and the ones that seemed strong, because the ones that seemed strong weren't going to have sex with me within 3 days. If a woman didn't have sex with me within 3 days, I'm walking away. I'm going to look for her friend, maybe her mother or her aunt.